We just left Leadore, which doesn't have much of a name for itself, but the hostel we stayed in was so above and beyond as far as the owners go that I feel like I'm compelled to mention it because the place is way nicer than it needed to be, and the owners were way more. I don't know, what would you say? Like,
just super accommodating,
yeah.
super hiker
They
friendly.
cooked us a spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, they went out of their way.
Yeah, awesome place.
Really did.
I think morale's pretty high. They had a scale there too, so I learned that I lost 23 pounds so far. How much did you lose?
From when I started, 15.
Okay.
I think, something like
that. Yeah. Fucking incredible place though.
Yeah.
We took a 0 there without even intending to originally, just because it was so good.
Yeah. Just to illustrate like how they went out of their way. Like she made us dinner because the one restaurant in town was closed, and I guess her boys and husband were out doing something for the night, so she wasn't cooking them dinner. She didn't have to do that. It definitely cost her some money, and it fed us, so we're really appreciative.
They also had like a massage chair that was space age and did everything short of basically giving you an enema or whatever you want.
Yeah, and when they picked us up with the shuttle, they brought us each a Coke, a bag of grapes.
Yeah.
I saw a guitar at the place, and I just randomly asked them, like, is there a banjo anywhere? And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna go. Like, my husband plays banjo sometimes. I'm gonna go try to find it. I'll bring it back. She brought me a freaking banjo to play. It was like, really can't recommend this place enough. Go to the Mustang Inn. Do yourself a favor.
We watched Tremors. We got inspired by the desert we walked through, and we watched Tremors, and it was good. Here we are at the road again.
We're First Amendment auditors right now.
Yeah, we have questioned law enforcement.
Yeah.
Clover is very accusatory. He said, "This is my woods. What are you scum doing out here? I get to dump wherever I want."
I plead the fifth. I don't answer questions, except for the ones that are advantageous.
Yeah.
To my personal.
I'm carrying nothing illegal. I'm doing. In all reality, those guys are really nice. They're cleaning up a giant dump pile that somebody dumped out here in the woods, I guess. Yeah. Pieces of shit, honestly. Not the cops, it's the people who dump the stuff. In other news, what do you smell?
Oh, cow shit.
Yeah. Awesome, yeah. Well, we're soon to be away from that, I hope. It's going to be more forested in this section from what it looks like on satellite imagery. God willing, because I really don't want to be in a desert anymore. This is the 3rd desert we've gone through, and I'm over it.
What kind of trail has more than one desert?
Apparently this one. I'm sure there'll be one more weird desert that happens in northern Montana that we don't expect at all.
Yeah, the rest of the trail is actually desert and full water tank.
We'll see.
It's funny how that works.
Yep.
Passing time playing verbal games, and it does make things go by a bit quicker, but we'll see how good they are at this. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Brutal.
The letter B in brutal?
The letter B in brutal.
Oh my God. These two are trying to figure out the commonality between the concept of Beyblade and the bone hole. The word game we were playing earlier was called Medium, and basically it just helps you find commonalities between words and see how other people's minds work. We're just kind of doing it to pass time because some of these open deserty sections are just kind of monotonous and boring, but it does seem to be ending a little bit here. We've been working our way into forest a bit more, which is ideal. Kind of thinking that this might be some of the last of the dry sections of the trail in the next few days. Then we'll eventually cross fully into Montana, and other than a little bit of stretch around Anaconda, we'll be in real classic Montana forest for the rest of the trail. It's really amazing the difference that a 0 day can make. When we came into Leadore, I was wiped out. I was feeling tired on every climb and just kind of burn at both ends. And today leaving, I feel like this part of the trail is much more cruisy than it has been for a while, but it's not actually any easier. This is just as hard a terrain as any other that we've been in the last few hundred miles. It's just eating well and getting an actual day's rest really adds up. I feel like I could actually kind of jog today, which feels great. I just hope this kind of carries on. At this point, I feel like I'm tempting fate, but I've got to say something about this. Knock on wood afterwards, but we have not been rained on in any substantial amount really since New Mexico, which is remarkable for this trail. It's supposed to be an incredibly rainy trail, especially for Colorado. It can be rainy in the rest of it as well. But somehow we've dodged all of it. We even went into Leadore, and the day we decided to randomly take a 0 yesterday, it poured all day while we were inside. We came out, and now it's sunny, other than 2 rainstorms that popped up, one of which is behind me, and it's moving that way, and another one that's directly in front of me, also moving that way. Above me, sunny sky. It's like we have a forest field around us. It's been like this for 2 months. I don't really know what to make of it, but I'm not complaining. These storms get close to us, just like the other day when going into town, but they never quite really materialize directly on us. They just kind of skirt right around us somehow. It's like we're the anti-rain men. You know, somebody would say you're tempting fate by acknowledging this, but I've talked to people about this a lot, and I just don't get it. I mean, this wind is so angry here. It's like every single aspect of the storm coming, but it just won't. This is what's coming towards me. Just sunny skies. It's really incredible. All of the trees in this forest are covered in this moss or lichen. I don't know which it is, but it's giving it this kind of morose aesthetic. It's really pretty in some ways, but it's different than anything I've seen on trail thus far. Keep running into patches of this. Welcome to camp.
Very nice. Soft.
I got some questions for you. What took you so long?
Got my trekking pole.
What was it that I asked you or told you to specifically not do like 2 hours ago?
Leave my trekking pole behind, but that was before at a different spot.
Uh.
I was distracted by the internet. That view back there.
All things work out in the end, but Clover did leave his trekking pole on the side of the trail, I guess, somewhere. Again.
I found it.
Didn't this happen like a few weeks ago when you went missing for 2 days?
It happens pretty often, if I'm being honest. I tend to lose my trekking pole a lot because I hate my trekking pole. I hate having to carry it.
Just use a pole or a stick for your tent.
Yeah, I probably should at this point.
We have ended up staying up a little bit tonight because we don't have to do too many miles in the next 4 days. So it's going to be a pretty relaxed section, I think. We're going to get to Darby on Friday night for the rodeo, and that should be interesting, but that's not for a few days.
Man, the entire feeling of this through hike has changed. Here we are at 7:48 a.m.
sitting on a log. You're smoking a cigarette talking about robot legs.
We are talking about robot legs.
I don't know, you brought up, you're really enthusiastic about it.
You literally just brought it, you fucking liar.
Anyways, we should be hiking, but this is what it's come to. We just sit in the woods, talk about possibilities, and we've gone nowhere. We like this. The days of being super productive are over.
It is over.
So we finally got moving, and I gotta say, there's some interesting things happening today. Within the next 5 miles, we're gonna go by Lemhi Pass, which is the highest pass that the Lewis and Clark expedition passed through. There's apparently a little memorial there for Sacagawea or Sacagawea, or however you pronounce her name. Very historically important. Clover is very, very excited to get there to check out the privy, though, because that's much more important than American history. He's gonna make.
You get the chance to use the same privy that Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea did.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually made out of the wood that they used to portage their boats over the pass. They they retrofitted it into the ground. And Clover's gonna sample it here in a minute. We'll give you an update afterwards, or not. We'll see what makes sense. We've got about a 20-mile water carry today, and so we're gonna get some from this spring, which very interestingly is probably this spring mentioned by Meriwether Lewis in his journal, as it's described here as issuing from the base of a low hill about a half-mile below Lemhi Pass, and saying it's the most distant fountain of the mighty Missouri, so the highest tributary. I want to read a quote about this place because apparently there's a guy named Hugh McNeil who stood over Trail Creek right here, 2.5 miles downstream, and because they had spent months trying to get their boats basically up here, and Meriwether Lewis wrote in his journal August 12th, 1805, that 2 miles below, McNeil had exultingly stood with a foot on each side of this little rivulet and thanked his God that he had lived to bestride the mighty and heretofore deemed endless Missouri. We're kind of ascending to the top of Lemhi Pass. It's incredible that they were able to drag those boats over this stuff on top of logs. It's even more incredible that they were dumb enough to do that when there was a road here. I mean, look at that creek down there. There's a road right next to it. Really incredible decision making. As we now learned, it took them 5 weeks to portage over this. Dude, I could probably get a hitch here in like 2 hours. We've seen a couple people. I know I stole your thunder and you hate it. I sent a Garmin message to this Forest Service and told them that Clover was on his way to use the privy, so they sent a truck out to accommodate the space because I know he's known to do a lot of damage. So it's better to just be proactive about it. They showed up right on time. He's almost here, ready to do his diligence. Man, what a day. Clover now, after failing at using the privy, has decided he wants to retire here and become a ranch hand. That or he's so strong he destroyed the fence when he went through it. Round peg, round hole. They're very glad that I'm helping them. Fantastic work, guys.
I am once again in CDT fashion, kind of just wandering through the woods without a trail or anything. This place is at least not difficult to walk through, but it's incredibly nondescript, so it takes a lot of attention to the maps. I'm wondering at this point, what percentage of this journey across from border to border have we actually spent just wandering through the woods off trail? It's got to be like hundreds of miles at this point. It's totally different than any of the other long trails I've been on, but I guess it gives it a little bit of character in some way. Back to walking through burned areas. Luckily for us, this one's old, but it seems like a lot of the people who took the big sky alts have been getting crushed by a few fires out there. It's not out of the ordinary for fires to hit during the late stages of a CDT through hike, but we've skirted them thus far. Actually, Jersey, who was in some of our videos earlier, took the big sky alt, and he was pretty much in the middle of one of them. It looked like he put some videos on Instagram of him kind of running down a highway with like stumps smoldering around him, and him acting as a volunteer firefighter and pissing on an open flame at one point. It's good to have positive spirits, I guess, when you're in a situation like that. I'm like 95% sure he's still alive. I did hit him up on Instagram and ask him how he was doing, and he did respond, so that's good. That kind of was my experience during my PCT through hike. I think there were about 17 fires that I remember counting, having to do something about or reroute around, or being affected by in some way. So I didn't really even see a lot of the scenery in the northern half of the trail, unfortunately. But that's just the way it goes some years. This has been very different for me on the CDT though. Been really thankful for having like really, really good conditions for most of this trail. It's kind of been a blessing thus far.
There's an entirely new type of hole here. Smaller than the bone hole. Maybe not as deep as the train hole. I can't fit into these rocks though, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to leave it how it is. I was tempted to explore, but it's on top of this mountain too, which is pretty crazy. Weird spot for that. It makes me feel like it's man-made.
These areas have been really difficult. Pretty short climbs, but really steep ones. Over and over and over. It's been like that since we've been in Idaho. I'm hoping it relaxes a bit. This is what we're looking at. For perspective, that's where I came from. I think you can see Splash walking down this trail over here. It's dinner time. I spoke too soon earlier. I was talking about how we haven't had any fires, and it's kind of hazy in the distance, but also there's a fire a couple hundred miles north of us that is now shut part of the trail. We're doing research to figure out whether it's going to be a permanent closure for us or whether it's something they'll get under control and reopen the trail in a week or two, which would be optimal, but we'll see. Here's a better view of the cliff next to our campsite, and a pretty good view, honestly. Everybody's over here waiting for dinner to be done though, and then we're gonna call it a night.